Ice Cube. Because Ice Cube has come out and given everybody some brutal truth. Sorry, Angel Reese, the $5 million offer was only for Caitlin Clark.
Personal, but it was business. That's all it is, business. Y'all gonna make it personal, though.
Angel Reese's unfinished breakdown. Angel Reese has gone into full-blown meltdown mode after the cancellation of many big sponsorships, and the repercussions is deafening. The Bayou Barbie has reached a brick wall in terms of branding, as seen by Ice Cub's public rejection and fan rumors that escalated into outright condemnation. The saddest thing is that it all began when Caitlin Clark grabbed control of her city and spotlight.
What happened to Miss Angel Reese? She's all in Indiana during All-Star, and her Reebok campaign, come to your trap, take over your trap.
They believed that Angel Reese will be the WNBA's next big star. The marketing goldmine, the fan magnet, and the brand queen. However, the tide abruptly changed. The headlines began to change. Inside the industry, the murmurs became more audible. We are now seeing the aftermath in real time. Sponsorships that used to queue up all around the block are silently disappearing.
Ice Cube, they're about to come and get Ice Cube. We know how this works. It won't be long.
Things have been strained behind closed doors. Numerous significant Angel-related efforts, some of which were already under production, have been scrapped. Some just scrapped, while others did so forever. Agencies are communicating. You know what they're saying when they look at the ROI, engagement, and numbers? She may no longer be worth the wager, in our opinion. And you know who started this PR frenzy? Cube of Ice.
So, Ice Cube, you see the headline from TMZ. Sorry, Angel Reese, the $5 million offer was only for Caitlin Clark.
One brutally honest interview with TMZ was all that was required. It was just a few words, but the effect was profound. Regarding Angel Reese, they did not provide us the same information. When asked why his Big Three league gave Caitlin Clark and only Caitlin Clark a $5 million contract, Cube responded as follows. No one else, not even Angel. Only Clark.
Why?
Because Caitlin may unleash millions, according to the sponsor. Not so much, Angel.
This is confirmation from the people that want to pay the money. Sponsors.
Cube presented it simply. I'm not in the business of losing money. The confirmation that was more powerful than any headline was right there. Why would a corporate sponsor take a chance if Cube, a person with street cred and commercial acumen, believes she's not worth it?
TMZ Sports caught up with Ice Cube himself at LAX this week, and the Big Three honcho said that there will be no deal put in front of Angel Reese anytime soon.
Let's be honest. A failed transaction isn't the only issue here. It all comes down to perspective, and perception equals money. Executives began reassessing everything as soon as such remarks were made. Hey, are we sure we're going forward with that Angel Reese rollout next quarter? Was virtually audible over the phone. The excitement waned one by one. The stats don't support the hoopla, not because Angel isn't skilled.
Didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese.
Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, is a different tale. It was a planned move rather than a risk when the Big Three made her a $5 million offer. They were aware that in only 10 games, 8 regular season games and 2 postseason games, she could draw large crowds, publicity, and money. That's $500,000 each game. That ROI is comparable to LeBron's. Sponsors are pleading for that kind of celebrity power. Now compare it to Angel Reese. No bargaining, no discussion, no offer, nothing. Additionally, since this wasn't Twitter noise, it was difficult for fans who bought into the It Girl narrative to accept that. Money was speaking loudly here.
Caitlin Clark went to Chicago and took the city over. It looked like she took the city over. CC with MJ. CC get treated like MJ in the rack. Oh my God.
This is where it hurts the most. This took place during Caitlin Clark's actual takeover of Chicago. Her domain is Angel City. As Reese's Reebok Trap commercial faded into the background, throngs surrounded Clark as if she were Michael Jackson in his prime. People lined up for hours to collect autographs, ran to her, and yelled her name. It wasn't staged. It wasn't a promotion. This was real. It was best expressed in the internet discussion. Caitlin Clark found her trap and fell for it. Forget about it.
Wow, I'm not sure any other single, outside of just the pure numbers that we keep showing people, literal numbers.
Angel is now confronted with a harsh truth. The excitement that brought her into the league is now insufficient. Because the comparison didn't work in her advantage, as soon as sponsors began comparing actual statistics, real impact, and genuine marketability. Every time, Caitlin Clark was preferred.
You gotta understand your place sometime. Look, they talking about Caitlin Clark took over Angel Reese's trap. See, this is why you don't need to keep trying to take shots at her. She took the city over.
The risk of over-branding before exceeding is that. That's the fallacy of thinking that followers are worth money. And now the breakdown starts as the bids stop flooding in and the negotiations dry up. Slow, quiet, agonizing, yet not loud or public. The most awkward thing is that Ice Cube didn't say anything hurtful. He was honest. And those with the checkbooks agree with that.
Caitlin Clark took over Chicago. She signed autographs for hours. This wasn't no extras that was paid to come stand in the scene. No, these were real people trying to get autographs.
Instead of being the primary attraction, Angel Reese is now the cautionary story. Let's simply state this. Caitlin Clark didn't simply show up when she arrived in Chicago. She took control. Full-blown fan rush energy is what we're talking about. If you're wondering whose city it was meant to be, Angel Reese is the obvious choice. However, what had begun as her trap swiftly evolved into Caitlin's coronation. They spoke it out. On the internet, they stated it. And in the streets, they said it. Angel Reese's trap was taken over by Caitlin Clark. Literally, not just metaphorically. People were pursuing her like she was Michael Jordan's second coming, shouting her name and waving jerseys in the crowded streets of Chicago.
Chicago, the queen of the rack. The biggest Barbie.
Because Caitlin Clark did more than simply play basketball in Chicago. It has to do with cultural conquest. The city, the audience, and the excitement welcomed her. She was even proclaimed queen of the rack by the memes. The perception game altered at that point. Angel had the phrases, the Reebok contract, and the swagger. However, Caitlin has people, and people don't tell lies.
I mean, outside of the fact you can't even get half the amount of people inside a LSU arena.
This is where things became even more chaotic, however. Angel Reese began to vanish as the excitement around CC erupted. She was dubious in a nationally broadcast game. The next major matchup is still ongoing. Indeed, back ailments are serious. However, fans, being fans, began investigating, conjecturing, and questioning if she was indeed too injured to play or just too intelligent to take a chance on the direct comparison.
I don't know how you could ever imagine, how can you compete with this? Because
it would be very evident if Reese was sitting while ratings declined and Caitlin was out there packing venues. She didn't want to be clearly outdrawn on live TV, according to several followers. Others said that her camp warned her to keep quiet because they knew what was about to happen. In all honesty, it's not all that implausible given how popular these tales are on social media.
Angel Reese was not going to be able to bring in the amount of eyes for the sponsors and for the league for him to justify that offer.
According to reports, before Angel skipped these games, Ice Cub squad had already seen engagement drop-offs on her name. Less spark, less traction, and less buzz. That's what sponsors consider. That's a red flag the size of a WNBA arena in the business world.
Really get to be a dog and get to that platform where you get to bring a national title, the first one back to LSU, without having that type of mentality, that chip on your shoulder. And I feel like we have to let these young women be unapologetically themselves.
You see, here is where the figures are useful. Furthermore, numbers are truthful. Let's discuss the facts. Sellouts, TV ratings, attendance at Caitlin Clark's games, and top-of-the-charts jersey sales all double or treble what the WNBA did the previous season. We're talking about more than simply home games for the Indiana Fever. We are discussing road games. Everywhere she goes, she is the attraction.
You cannot measure up. You don't have as many followers you have on Instagram. That is great. I will not take away from the fact that you are one of the bigger brands in the WNBA. You are a star in your own right, but you are not Caitlin Clark. It's a different.
Angel Reese is still well known and a celebrity, but let's not act as if the numbers are comparable. Although her jersey sales are good, they are not particularly noteworthy. Even after winning the national championship, LSU was unable to fill half of their home stadium. Additionally, her presence doesn't have the same impact without the social media drama and viral feuds.
So Ice Cube's literally saying, we sat down, looked at the actual figures, and the draw wasn't there. The fever wasn't there. Oh, no pun intended.
This explains why corporate insiders and sports YouTubers alike often use the same quotation. Numbers don't lie, but men and women do. Sponsors want assurances, not speculation, when it comes time to write checks. And Caitlin Clark delivers. Forget about it. Therefore, whether Angel Reese is talented is not the issue. She does. Whether the drama and the image are helping or hindering her is the issue. And that response is becoming louder in light of what we just seen in Chicago and what Ice Cube said.
Oh, just leave it alone, Angel. And this is why I'm saying you be making yourself look crazy because in all actuality, there's no comparison between you guys.
Angel Reese is experiencing a severe identity crisis, which is the section that is affecting her more than any screen in the paint. Not the light-hearted romantic comedy in which she finds herself and starts a bakery. No, everyone is talking about the post-sponsorship media breakdown. For the first time, people are beginning to wonder, who is Angel Reese without Caitlin Clark in the picture?
You need to stop trying to attach yourself to this girl at every turn because she has officially come to your trap and taken over your trap.
And it goes beyond any dubious rhetoric. From the front lines of the sports world, that is the cultural criticism. Fans, commentators, and even YouTubers are voicing their opinions. What is the reason for Angel's constant attachment to Caitlin in every tweet, comment, and headline? She is there in the center, a shadow in the media cycle rather than a competitor on the court. Keep the Vision provided one of the most accurate lines, precisely capturing the essence. Now that you're competent enough to stand alone, why don't you? Boom. That's all. That's the whole problem. She's not a benchwarmer trying to stay relevant. She has a unique tale to share as a WNBA starter. However, each time she includes Clark and turns it into a comparison game, she is essentially acknowledging that the focus is insufficient without Caitlin as well.
The business of losing money. So of course, Angel Reese couldn't get offered the 5 M's like Caitlin.
This is when things become complicated. Because the wealthy companies, the brands, don't like drama. They adore consistency. They like being consistent. Together with Angel. They expected a constant illumination, but she's delivering pyrotechnics. It was more than simply a footwear agreement with Reebok. It was a risk, a complete wager on persona rather than performance. They relied on her reputation, social influence, and post-championship swagger. However, that wager seems to be a bit hazardous now that the figures don't match the hype.
What should have been a massive, huge day for your sponsors and for your networks.
Sponsorships don't want to become viral one day and disappear the next. Instead of side eyeballs and subtweets, they desire steadiness. Therefore, Angel will continue to see agreements fail before they even open until she starts developing a brand that isn't dependent on Caitlin Clark's success. The problem is that it's not finished. Not at all.
But this is what happens when you continue to attach yourself and compare yourself to somebody rather than just doing your thing. Now you got people, they can be honest, they have to say exactly what y'all want them to say. That's what it seems like.
A door remains ajar. Angel Reese has a chance to make a significant comeback if she shifts her focus from comparison to sincerity. The sort of redemption story that endures forever on YouTube. Because let's avoid misinterpreting it. She is skilled at the game. She has a presence. She has the personality. All she has to do is become the greatest Angel Reese instead of attempting to be the Aunt Caitlin Clark. Forget about it. That takes us to the crucial question. What comes next, Literally. Will Angel speak out about the criticism, engage with the fans, and take responsibility for the pandemonium, or will she remain mute and let the season unfold? Because after a series of cancelled events, injury no-shows, and brand pullbacks, that quiet is deafening. Subscribe because chasing clout fades and celebrity power pays.